We are live on the Virtual Grip Network from the land of slot machines for race one of round 3 here in the OBRL YesterYear Racing Cup Series. YesterYear, where past meets present. I'm Zach Chapman, a.k.a. Shaggy, along with my partner in crime, John Hine, and we're lucky enough to have the heartbeat of VGN, the best at bringing all the sights and sounds, the one and only Ryan Seneker. Last week, the boys had their final race of round number 2 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, and to say it had its ups and downs would be an absolute understatement. Daniel Hill came into the night with zero pressure, having won 2 weeks ago, meaning he was locked into round 3. This allowed him to just throw caution to the wind and drive on the absolute limit, bringing home his second win there of round number 2. And Daniel Hill will have Mr. Mo in his corner here as we roll into tonight's race. And speaking of, 4 races to go here. 8 drivers have a chance to punch their ticket into the season finale at Phoenix. But it all starts tonight as we get set to go 150 laps at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now, John, every time we roll into the desert, I expect the drivers to be in full go mode, especially with it being the playoffs. And 8 drivers, you know, I mean, we mentioned a couple weeks ago, Talladega coming up. That's going to be a huge wild card. I mean, this is the chance to really shore yourself up and get yourself in. How do you survive 150 laps tonight here in the desert?
Well, you know, making mistakes is going to be the big part of this tonight because, man, this track is bad fast here. But you know what's going to be good for the drivers? I think there's going to be multi-groove racing here. I think you're going to be able to get around here pretty quick on the bottom, get through on the top. Heck, even when I was out there practicing, I was able to go all the way up on the boards and still probably cut a decent lap. The one thing, though, that's going to challenge these guys is looking after that right front tire. You know, high speeds, corner entry, you know, that puts a lot of strain on that right front tire. They're going to have to look after that. And, you know, if it starts to go away, they're going to find corner exit to be particularly tough. Cars are going to want to drift out and drift right out to that wall. And then if they use it enough, you're going to need that track to probably be 10, 15 feet wider. And that's not going to happen. The wall always wins. So, yeah, I think there's going to be some challenges, and I can't wait to see how these guys progress through the night.
Got a good bit of guys here, close to that 30 number. We're not at 30, I don't believe, but pretty close. And, you know, not to say, John, that all drivers don't matter here, but go ahead. Bring it up, Ryan. I mean, we've got to focus on 8 here tonight. Not to say, once again, that there can't be a spoiler. In fact, if I'm being honest, John could wrap me out. I said I'm kind of rooting for a guy on the outside to steal one. We haven't seen it yet in the playoffs, but John, out of those 8 guys here, I mean, Dan Hill, clearly all the momentum. I mean, do you think he's going to be tough to beat here at Vegas tonight?
Well, if practice was any indication, the word is yes. But, well, I tell you, the guys in the final 8, we've seen them up front all year. At some point in time, every one of these guys have made their presence known in every one of the races. Now, I'd rather be bad luck or a mistake that have taken themselves out. But these guys, I think, have gotten to this point because I think they've limited mistakes and they've kept their pace up. You know, it gets harder from here. That final 4, that's going to be really tough. And I think tonight, maybe one of these guys, you know, might be a little bit behind, maybe the couple, 2, 3 top guys. They're going to have to ask themselves, do they want to take a strategy gamble to try to put themselves, you know, give them a chance to win, just to try to automatically lock into that top 4. So I think tonight, yeah, I hate to use the word wild card, but boy, there's a lot of different scenarios that can play out tonight to figure out who's going to win this thing.
And obviously here, qualifying, it's getting ready to come to a close here. So we'll be bringing your starting grid up in about 15, 20 seconds or so. So you'll hear John and I dive into it a little more, but I think you nailed it there, John, with that strategy, because if our math is correct, we haven't come to many races this year that are going to force 2 green flag pit stops for fuel. But we're thinking tonight, you're going to have to at least stop twice. So, man, when maybe that undercut, boy, oh boy, that could be a big deal. But let's go ahead. Let's take a look here at the starting lineup. And, man, I almost said Andrew Kotska, where has he been? I mean, He came into the into the playoffs as your point leader, but it's kind of been a quiet chase, and here he goes. He won Tom Ogle to the outside of the front row.
Yeah, and Lloyd Moore is looking to have a really good, strong finish to the season here, and he's going to roll off third. And next to him, we already said his name once tonight. It's going to be Dan Hill.
Roger Hurley lines up on the inside of Courtney Nelson. They're row 3.
And row 4 is going to have David Brand and Scott Negus.
Gavin Adams to the inside of row 5. To the outside, James Hislop.
First car outside the top 10 is going to be Dale Copeland, and to his outside, Tom Massey.
Andy Thomas lines up on the inside of row 7 to the top shelf. Lucky Larry Cool.
Sean Foltz, Dwayne MacArthur, a couple of guys that are in that final 8. They're kind of back there a little bit here tonight. They're going to roll off 15th and 16th.
I just noticed something on iRacing, John. Can you confirm? In this, it says Jerry Isaacs. On iRacing, I've never noticed not say Isaacs. It says Isaacs there on the leaderboard, but on iRacing, it says Jerry Isaacs. Very weird. On the inside of row 9 to the top shelf, the grandpa of Dakota Fisher.
Torrance Childs and Greg McDaniel are going to start 19th and 20th.
Jeff Lyden on the inside of row 11 to the outside, Robert Borisco.
Brian Lynch is the last car to put up a qualifying time. He's going to roll off 23rd. To his outside will be Ken Huff.
Chris Bates lines up on the inside of Jonathan Tier. They're going to take row 13.
And Patrick Martindale and Bert Dodson are going to be 27th, 28th, and Nick Self will be on that final row. And Zach, we have some penalties that look like they're going to happen here. Chris Bates and Patrick Martindale both will have to go to the end of the longest line.
I was wondering why we didn't see Bates qualify. He's normally a guy who can go out there and put down a pretty quick one-lap time. That makes a little sense now. Bates was going to have to give it up anyway, so why... maybe, what is it, John? Tease yourself with what could have been.
Yeah, well, and we saw Courtney Nelson have to play that game last week. So, yeah, that's a tough, always tough to not have to qualify. But at least he's got chances to catch some cautions. That's something that those guys last week at the Roval did not have that opportunity.
Yeah, and I know they didn't really mention it at the Roval last week, but 2 weeks ago, John, we've heard all season how important clean air is. I mean, as we get ready to go, do you think Tom Ogle puts a big fight on the outside here and really tries to battle with Andrew Kotska? Because I would think Tom Ogle's exact words, clean air is king, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think so. And, you also have an opportunity to keep a competitor from getting an extra point, too. Is at this time of year, every point counts.
Watch the iRacing pace car. Diving off a little late. They tricked me. I thought we were maybe going another time around. But the green flag's high. She's ready to fly. We are underway. 150 laps to play at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And tough start there for Tom Ogle. Couldn't tell if maybe got into gear a little late. But boy, oh boy, Lloyd Moore looking to put the pressure on here for second early.
Yeah, as they get down the backstretch there, they're still 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through the field here. So, guys, I think with the Ogle, I think he really did stack up that outside line there. Dan Hill is all over him as they go through 3 and 4.
Yeah, the Black Cat, he's another one who likes to be out in front with that clean air. And I'm telling you, Andrew Kotska, we've seen him whisper to some tires here throughout the season. You don't want to let that guy get that big lead and just basically get to run it at his own pace. So we'll have to see if the boys can kind of rally together here and run those guys down. Meanwhile, I think that was Scott Negus there checked up on the outside. It was. Going to lose 2 spots here. Now he's going to come back on the outside of James Hislop, possibly here. Coming back strong in that 94 machine. Oh, did he put McDonald's back on the car too?
Kind of looks that way. Well,
nope, Motorcraft. He tricked me. I told him to put McDonald's back on the car. It'll bring him better luck.
Oh, I'll tell you, these guys right now have to make some decisions behind the wheel because you know what? Both lines look to be equally, not equally as fast, but you can hang on the outside pretty good. But how much do you want to use your tires battling on lap 3 of this race? I mean, I think guys are going to have to look after them a lot And the sooner that you can settle in, the better better tire life you're gonna see.
I think Ryan caught it too. I saw him click on that pack there, the 65 of David Brand. Man, he had a slide coming out of 4, and that was in front of a lot of cars, but he was able to gather it. Now, this is where I think if you're the general, Dwayne MacArthur there, you are going to be a little nervous this time as he pulls to the inside car in the outside wall. The Kubota number 30 machine of Gavin Adams keeps it straight, but boy, oh boy, John, we are on lap 5 now. Man, kissing the wall this early, you don't want to use your stuff up.
No, you don't, and that's why I was just talking about it. You know, now you got to start having to make decisions here. You know, how hard do you want to push things this early? Because the more you push them now, the more you're going to pay for it later.
Seeing those front 5 basically kind of single file out, but from there on back, Scott Negus and Courtney Nelson, they are battling hard. James Hislop's got a front row seat here. James not close enough to jump to the outside, but Scott Negus, man, oh man, if he is not abusing that right front tire, John, he has some pace. The 94 may be ready to race here.
Yeah, and part of that group, though, guys that really want to get their way through here to go catch up to those top 5. You've got Isaacs, you got MacArthur, I believe, you know, Foltz. All those guys are in this pack trying to get up there.
See Andy Thomas battling side by side there with Dale Copeland. Dale gets the momentum off the 2, but Andy's got a little help on the bottom. Jerry going to back off, though. Not really give him a push here, and this may allow Gavin Adams to get a run on the outside of Jerry Isaacs. Isaacs going to shut the door, and boy, oh boy, Gavin Adams, that is the second time I've seen that 30 machine rush the wall there in a short 7 laps.
Yeah, I promise you that 30 is going to have some issues with the tires. I got him kind of watching the car, and it really has a look of sliding across the track out to that wall. And, you know, that's, yeah, like I said, that's going to really abuse those tires doing that.
Courtney Nelson there working the bottom, that Furniture Row 78, man, what a heartbreak for him. Came into the Roval as arguably the favorite on the road course, but had to make an early pit stop, leading to a second pit stop out of necessity, and Courtney Nelson just couldn't get himself back in the race. And right now, you know, he won't say it, I'm sure, John, but if he could go out here and win a race tonight, I mean, that would really mean something for him.
Yeah, you know, a little bit of vindication. He very well could be before the end of this. Courtney's had all kinds of speed all through the season here, and he's one of those guys too that we talked about it earlier about strategy. Courtney's one of those guys that can, you know, pull one over on the field and do something a little different and maybe get out of here with a win.
James Hislop there lifting pretty early. Will that allow the general maybe throw a little slide job, go up there and park it in front of Hislop? He is indeed going to do so. Hislop, though, with a big run, going to take a peek here one more time, but the general says, no way, Jose. Slots up there in line, and right now he may be just content with following Courtney Nelson here, seeing if he can't use that 78 as maybe a snowplow as we see Jerry Isaacs take the peek on the bottom. I believe that's under Dale Copeland in the 55 machine. I get confirmation. Copeland there, that Chick-fil-A 55, trying to come back on the high side one more time here, but he better figure out what he wants to do, because Gavin Adams, that 30 machine, we've seen him using up every inch of this racetrack. He is coming. He is ready to go.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, as a driver like that too, you know, Isaacs has got a whole lot to lose at this point in time. You're just in that car, please cut me a break, you know, and Copeland's under no obligation to do it. You know, you're not expected to lay over for these guys, but I can tell you, if you got something on the line, you really, really hope guys don't race you too hard anyway.
Isaacs there on the outside. Should get the run here off the 2, but the 55 goes up. There's a little bit of side draft here, but now he's hung out. No help on the bottom. Gavin Adams trying to rope the top shelf here. See if he can get that 30 machine in line, but I think the 55's got other plans here.
Oh, Isaac's in the wall.
Yes, he is, John. That was a pretty big hit, too.
Yeah, it was. It was flush. He hit all the way down the side of that car, too. So, you know, and Zach, you know this, too. With the force feedback, you know, that some of these guys have with the direct drives, that's the kind of thing that'll yank the wheel out of your hand or, you know, at least put a jolt through your hands.
Oh, yeah, most definitely, especially depending on what style of wheel they run. There's so many different ones. I mean, some of these guys may be messing around with a Formula One wheel even. I mean, I know it's not what we'd see in real life, but it's all about comfort. You tap the wall in one of those, it's a whole different experience here as Briscoe tries to slide his way around the outside of Gavin Adams. Robert Gorisco gets a big run here, and right in front of them, the 55 of Copeland going right back to work on Jerry Isaacs one more time.
Yeah, looks like he's going to get the pass done, and I actually heard Isaacs there kind of lift and just kind of yield the spot rather than fight him.
And you got to wonder, I mean, obviously, I don't think the car is beat up too bad, John, but maybe that wall tap said, hey, I got to calm down a little bit. We got a long, long way to go. I mean, we've seen these guys do some amazing things here, but you know, once we hit about that lap 25 mark, I would not be surprised if we do get a caution. There's the 4 down on the apron. Dakota Piszka comes back up on the racetrack, able to hold on to it. Boy, oh boy, that could have been bad.
Yeah. You know what? Dakota probably knows it could have been bad, but I'll tell you, the guys around him knew. They were probably aware of just how bad it could have been.
And pretty unbelievable. I mean, obviously, they did lose a little bit of time there to Greg McDaniel, who's up the road there in that Cartoon Network machine, but not too much of a gap. I mean, they're still right there. Now, Dwayne MacArthur, I can't tell if he's defending or going around Hislop, but that's who he's battling. And, Hislop not going away here. Keep that nose down under there. That was close. They did not have a lot of room going through that tri-oval, but the general, all in all, gets the run off the 2 here. And now he's got a sight set on the 78 machine. He's got a big run here into 3. He is almost all over the back of Courtney Nelson, the general, ready to roll.
Yeah, the 83 car here looks like he's much stronger than the 78 at this point in time. So, again, how much capital do you want to burn trying to get these spots? And for guys like MacArthur, who's still in this points deal, you know, every single point, he's going to get a huge run coming off the top here.
Yeah, look at the Black Cat. Going to go around Tom Ogle here for, I believe, 4th. Move the trash man up into P4. He's rolling that outside right now. Roger Hurley and Lloyd Moore in front of him. And, well, they were 2 original Chase members, John, but right now I believe the guys in 2nd and 3rd. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Ryan, but they're not in the chase here anymore. That would be very interesting here to really throw a wrench in some of those guys' plans.
And you know those guys would love nothing more than to do that, too.
Oh, my gosh, yeah, that'd be driving me here. I mean, if I'm Lloyd Moore, I'm basing everything I do. I mean, well, now, John, we've gotten 20 green flag laps in. Maybe we can talk about it a little bit. We expected somewhere between, 65 to 70 laps out of these guys. Maybe some of them can save a little more. But what that tells us is in a 150-lap race, they're going to have to stop twice. So are we thinking, undercut maybe going to be valuable here tonight?
Well, I think it's certainly an option here. I mean, right now, I'm going to base my thinking here on Courtney Nelson's time. He ran a 30-60 for that lap, and back when they were on brand new tires and they qualified, Nelson ran a 29-42. So you're talking almost a full second now off the pace at what they were, and we're only 20 laps in. So remember what I was telling you about that tire wear? Right now, they're going through the first transition, big transition with that tire wear. The cars are wanting to drive out to the wall on corner exit a lot more than what they did earlier. Turn in, the car might not cut into the corner like it did in the first part of the race. Right now is a time where guys are starting to adjust. I think you're going to see guys start, instead of hugging the white line through the corners, I think guys are going to move up a lane or two to kind of combat that a little bit.
Yeah, you hit the nail there right on the head as we saw Hurley kind of enter in a little higher. I think after he saw Daniel Hill work the outside, maybe realized, hey, I need to go up here, save my tires a little bit, and I can use it to defend. And Andrew Kotska, he is leading the way, John, but these last couple laps, it hasn't been a whole bunch. Half a 10th here, a 10th there. Lloyd Moore is reeling in your race leader.
Yeah, he sure is. I mean, you can just see it, especially on corner exit. And that's where, if you've abused your tires, that's where you're going to suffer the most is corner exit, because what you're going to have to do is wait longer to get back to the throttle. And guys that can get back to the throttle earlier are going to just get really good runs coming out of the corner, and then it's a drag race down to the next corner. And when you can pick the throttle up earlier, chances are you're going to win that drag race.
Yeah, look at Brown making a liar out of me. I said half a 10th here, 10th there. I mean, it's basically been a 10th every lap. The last time around, 10th and a half. Lloyd Moore is really, really coming on.
Yeah,
John,
he's got the 8 of the draft, too.
That's what I was going to say. I'd say for right now, that last lap, this lap, draft's going to help you a little bit. But I think as he gets closer to Andrew Kotska, he's going to start to feel that, less air on the front end here, and he's going to start to push on older tires as he gets closer.
100%. And then, and catching guys is one thing. You always hear it. Catching them is one thing, passing them is another. And the line that Kotska's taking doesn't really give, a whole lot of options for somebody to get around him. He's kind of hugging 2 different lines, and, that makes it tough to pass.
Now, John, me personally, I think, if you're Kotska, you protect the lead no matter what. But do you think maybe he's thinking a little more cautious if Lloyd Moore would get to him? I mean, he's not racing Lloyd Moore here for the championship. I know a win gets him into the next round, but P2 is a lot better than, possibly defending and ending up on the trailer.
Yeah, what you don't want to do is use your stuff up. That's the first thing. If he can stay out front and maybe make Lloyd Moore work a little harder to get around him, Lloyd will eat up his tires, and any advantage that he may have for protecting him early on will just go away in a matter of laps.
John Foltz, he started 5th, and you saw him make the pass there on Roger Hurley. He's up to 6th. Now you're watching Greg McDaniel work under Warisco here. I could be wrong, but I think out of the 8 drivers, maybe Brian Lynch actually behind him. I was going to say those 2 the furthest back of the 8 in the chase. So right now, Greg McDaniel is going to, I know it's early, John, but this has green flag feeling to it. Greg's got to kind of get on the horse here.
Yeah, and, and if we end up with green flag pit stops, my goodness, how many times have we seen the whole, whole race change, who's strong, who's not strong, who gets a penalty, and all of a sudden is in a whole lot of trouble. We've seen that time and time again over the last year here. So, yeah, the pit stops have got to be starting to cycle into the driver's mind. I know we're still probably maybe, 25, 30 laps away from it, but you've got to be thinking about that stuff. You got to be looking at your lap times and thinking, okay, we've fallen off this much. Can I get around the couple, 2, 3 guys in front of me? I mean, take someone like Dan Hill, for instance. He's, a little bit behind the leader, Kotska, but if he pitted maybe 2 laps before Kotska did, guess what? Those new tires, when they cycle through, Kotska's going to be behind them. So, you got to start thinking about that stuff now, and pay attention to what other guys are doing. Are you keeping pace with them? Are you losing ground? A lot of calculations right now.
No, and obviously, I'm not trying to amp up the situation here. We've been at more difficult places to pit, I would say. But
yes,
this is a tricky pit road, John.
Yes,
I mean,
it is.
if you come down one of the guys early and then maybe a lap later a guy spins out coming to pit road, caution flag comes out, man, you are in trouble. I mean, you'll get the lucky dog probably, but get stuck a lap down and moving to the tail end of the field.
Oh, Negas just popped the wall really. That's the hardest hit I've seen today off that wall coming out of 4. But Zach, you're right. And the thing that I think is the highest likelihood that will happen on pit entrance is somebody missing pit road. They're going to turn down to try to get there and have to bail on it because they're not going to get to pay speed quick enough.
You see Negus,
Pit road speed.
Paying the price there, that shot you talked about,
Yeah,
Johnny.
it was
right
it was a hard shot. He's going to probably have a lap or two to figure out what he's got, within the car.
No, and you're not saying I told you so there, but I had highlighted. I mean, Negus, he was driving up through the pack pretty aggressively there early on, and I said if he wasn't using those right sides, I mean, he'd have a race car, but it seems like maybe just driving a little too hard here early on. As you see Hislop and the General side by side. The General, he was trying to squeeze the juice there out of Hislop, giving him no room, side by side at the line. Don't know who got it there. But Negus now maybe cooled him off here. John going to go back to the outside of the 59.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, MacArthur's got a draft from Negus. So being on that outside, he's able, and he gets a huge run. Even Hurley jumped up there to kind of benefit from that draft a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they've got too wide in front of them here. Negus should get a good run off the corner, have it at the line. He does, but it won't be enough to clear, folks. Still going to think about one more send here into one. Negus drives it in deep here. Can he get?
We're going to have a battle for second.
And yes, we are side by side. Not much of a battle there. The Black Cat around the outside, and looky who behind him, John. That ST.
Yeah, if we stay on this long enough, if he runs the same line as he just did, Hill was all the way up against the wall through 1 and 2 and just got this monster run. He doesn't go back, but Ogle goes up there. But yeah, he was way up the track.
Watched the 7 do it. He tried to replicate it here, but I think Lloyd maybe was like, I'm going to go up there too. Didn't leave much of it open. I'm going to cut down here, try to get a big run. He is coming as Lloyd Moore clips the wall. Where does he go? Going to shoot to the inside here. Does Lloyd Moore try to fight it off?
Koska's up against the wall now, so they're all, you know what? They're all trying to figure out where they can go faster. They're all feeling the effects of their tires starting to go away here up front. But what a battle. The top 4, they're you cover them with a blanket.
No, and you got to wonder, I mean, not if you're, Andrew, do you want to say advantage here because he's out front, but maybe you see those guys reeling him in. I mean, it maybe makes Kotska's decision a little easier here, John, as we roll in. I mean, we're about 11 laps away from that lap 50 mark where you split the race in thirds. The car's starting to go away from you. Maybe Andrew won't wait, for someone to get an undercut on him. Maybe he'll be one of the first guys to come down.
Well, I'll tell you, if I'm anywhere behind him and I see him come to pit road, I go ahead and don't try to get cute. I come right down with him.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I mean, you can't afford to let him kind of run his own race here again. As Lloyd Moore gets a run on the Black Cat, he's going to take a peek down low. Daniel Hill, he is painting the outside wall here. He's got the brush on the outside. He is going to have one heck of a run here again, John. Not going to be close enough to make a move on Kotska, but boy, he pulled away from Lloyd Moore.
The first time they're going up top down here in 3 and 4 to try to replicate that run. Well, you've heard me say it cheekily a few times here, but you know what? You want to sell T-shirts, get up there and run the boards.
Yeah, and I think, that's exactly what Daniel's going to have to do here, but he can't because Kotska goes up there. He runs the wall. The Black Cat to the bottom. He picks up the throttle pretty good for being on the bottom, but you can see Kotska just a little bit more momentum, but Daniel goes up, pulls a little side draft right before they enter the corner, slows down Kotska. And what kind of run can Daniel get on the bottom here off the floor? Oh, man, give it to Kotska at the line.
Yeah, by the hair of his chinny chin chin, but they're going to go back up. And isn't this great? You got Lloyd Moore running the middle. You got Koska up against the wall. You got you got Hill all the way down on the bottom. We should run every week here. Seeing that, it's just awesome to see these guys run all over. Look at Moore. I think he's going to try to make it 3 wide.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. I mean, we got to take it out pit road.
Yep.
Yeah, couldn't tell who that was there, but Daniel Hill, give it to the Black Cat at the line. He gets that important bonus point here. Now can Daniel maybe secure the pass this time coming off a 2? I think Andrew Kotska maybe just used up a little too much, John.
And you got Ogle back there licking his chops, watching all these guys use up their stuff here. But wow, what great racing here with the top 4. Oh, Lloyd Moore saves it.
Save Lloyd Moore, unbelievable. And he only loses about a half a second there, Lloyd Moore. Woo, good hands move of the race there. Oh, man, I wish I know Ryan can't there because that's... Oh, and he can. He's better than me. Look at this.
Yeah,
I mean, he wrecked twice there, even though you didn't see that. He wrecked twice, I'm telling you. John will vouch.
Here's the thing. He took a big slide on those tires, but, boy, he's rolling in, and he just ran down Koska pretty easy. We're going to have a battle for third. We're going to have a battle for the lead because Ogle now has found himself up to second. And he is putting a lot of pressure onto Hill. But yeah, we got 2 different battles here.
No, and you know, I mean, John, we're seeing guys run the outside, and you know, not to compare it to dirt racing, but let's compare it to dirt racing here at Eldora. You know, that's the perfect move there for Tom Ogle because now he's got a gap behind him. He can go to work a little bit. He doesn't have to worry about maybe getting out of line here and losing a spot. I mean, that's prime for the 11 here. This will really allow Tom to go to work.
Yeah, and 0-0 here. Lloyd Moore just worked his way back around Koska after that big slide.
And all of a sudden, too, you know, I mean, Negus heard me call him out. Here comes Scott Negus.
Oh, Koska's going to the pits.
Yep, so Kotska maybe thought, here comes the general, Dwayne MacArthur, too. Let's see what kind of move that is. Now, this is big. They're going to have to go at least, 5 laps longer on one of the sets of tires here, but maybe they learned their lesson, John. And, I mean, as we put laps in, they'll put more rubber on the racetrack.
Zach Ogle and Hill have to pit here, or they're going to come out, by the time they cycle through, they're going to come out 2-3 seconds behind the leader. And they're not coming. None of those guys up front are coming. Boy, I think this is going to be a huge advantage for Koska.
We'll have to see. I mean, if it stays green, you know, maybe Ogle and Hill like what they got, but I just don't know. If we get an extra 20 laps and then a green flag, it's not going to look so good.
But if it stays green, Koska's going to have to put some extra laps on the set of tires to get back into that pit cycle too. So, yeah, wow, I just can't believe. I mean, that might be what they're going to do though, is break it right up into that 50-50-50 kind of, trifecta.
No, and not to, beat on him a little bit, but Dwayne MacArthur was a lot closer than 2.5 seconds to Andrew Kotska when they came down pit road. And Dwayne maybe struggled a little bit here. As you mentioned, battle for the lead. Tom Ogle.
He was looking.
Thought he was going to take that peak there, but now Dan goes down there, shuts the bottom. Still neither. John going to come down pit road. We are at lap 50 right now, so I would think this is where, if I'm the crew chief here on that 7, I'm telling him box, box, box.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, if you pit here, you are going to lose a lap. So, that's the other thing. You really, you take a chance by pitting early, because you're going to lose a lap. And if you get caught a lap down, that's going to put you at a disadvantage for sure too.
Top 5, 6, 7, all stay out. I lied. James Hislop, 7th place, coming down pit road, the 92. We got a couple more coming behind him. Tom Amnesty as well. So here we go. I mean, battle for the lead. Yeah, Tom Ogle gets the run off of 2. Couldn't tell Daniel Hill maybe overdrove the entry. Got to think, if you're Daniel, duck down pit road, yank that 7 down pit road. Oh, he stays out.
Yeah, when if we get all the way, cycle all the way through here without a caution, Koska's going to have a 4, 5, 6 second lead at the end of this. And I'll tell you what, MacArthur might even cycle all the way up to 2nd place.
Yeah, I mean, I really think he will. I mean, he's gnawed in a little bit to Andrew Kotska. I mentioned he was 2.5 seconds back at Kotska. Well, got a second off of that, but now he's got to work through what Andrew just worked through.
Here comes Ogle.
Here we go, and the trash
Negus.
man not coming.
Yeah, and now, you know what, though? Again, 5 or 6 laps these guys are going to have, they're going to be able to make up some ground when they get out of pit road to these guys that are going to have, maybe 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 laps by the time they pit, fresher tires. So, it's kind of yo-yo a little bit, but I just think, I do think the undercut is probably going to be the one that's going to be the most beneficial.
Tom Ogle overshot his box, John. He had to back up. He had to back up.
And there's the pit, cues that we were talking about that can change a race.
Yep, and he's still sitting there getting tires on that thing. Here comes Andrew Kotska crossing the start-finish line. I mean, Andrew Kotska, he is going to be a lifetime ahead of Ogle. Ogle pulling off pit road. Kotska about to enter the backstretch. Oh, man, and Dwayne MacArthur, you said, John? He's about 15 cars up. I mean, there are a lot of cars in between him and Tom Ogle right now.
Yeah, and that, backing up, that's a couple of seconds, the extra on pit road. And on a hot track, a green track like this, where everything is still going, boy, that's a couple of seconds is probably half a straightaway, probably a little less than half a straightaway. That's a lot of distance to give up.
Now, not that I'm questioning the strategy of the guys that are still out, but I am questioning the strategy of the guys that are still out. Do you think here as Lloyd comes down, do you think they're just...
Oh, Lloyd almost missed the... Lloyd... Whoa. Boy, that was sketchy for him to get down to speed on pit road.
That just means, he wasn't losing any time. He hooked it out there.
As long as he didn't get a speeding penalty going in there, yeah, he probably gained some time on that pit entry.
See, we're watching your race leader. I can't tell who that lap car is coming up behind me. The 46 machine of Ken Huff, from what I'm hearing. And you can see, I mean, Huff, he was back there a ways, John, not really running up there with the leaders, but what a new set of tires does for you. Yeah. And Daniel Hill he continues to just keep plugging away. I mean, maybe he'll prove us wrong here, but I don't know. This is, I think, questionable strategy here by the Black Cat.
Think about this. They're running a second and a half slower, almost 2 seconds slower than what they were. Fresh tires, 10 laps, that's a 10-second swing from where you were to, that 8 seconds on the racetrack, that is a quarter of a track. That's a big difference.
Yeah, and I just, oh man, boy, would my mind be blown if they found a way to maybe clutch going into corners and get this thing home 75 laps on a fuel run. That would be quite a steal.
Yes. Yes. Now that would be incredible. And then, it very well might be possible between being behind people, having the draft and kind of taking it easy. I think that, I don't want to say it's possible, but boy, it sure would be close. At the very least, Zach, you may not have to take a second pit stop. If it was late enough in the run, you could take a second pit stop and take fuel only. If you felt comfortable enough, maybe really late in the race, maybe 20 laps to go or something like that, maybe you can make that work. But that'll be a tall task to do, though.
Yeah, that is actually another idea, but man, you got to wonder. I mean, you talked about basically that second and a half lap time fall off. If you're just trying to, real quick short pit at the end, was it worth it to stay out there all those laps on old tires rather than just come in at the half, the third waypoint? It's gonna be interesting here. Here comes the leader down pit road.
That's gonna leave Foltz.
So he's got to go 90 laps here. If I'm the crew chief here, you got to go hard for me here. 45 laps. We got to break this up in two now to bring it home.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to go that long. I mean, he only has to go about 14. But I think he's coming to pit road. I already heard him get off the gas. Nope. You know what? He got off. He might be trying to stretch it. You're listening to what his engine was doing. That is Sean Foltz's engine. He might be trying that. He is off the gas for a long time. Now, that could also be because of tires, but he is off the gas for an awful long time.
No, and this is no disrespect here to Sean, but right now, you know, this is maybe what he needs to do to win. I mean, Sean rolling
Here he
around.
comes. Here he comes.
Nope.
You know, I think he might, because that happened just a lap before. I think he might have been wanting to come a lap earlier, but I think he just kind of maybe lifted a little bit too late.
Now the 78 of Courtney Nelson here takes the lead, and interesting to note, if caution were to fly, the next car ahead of him is Andrew Kotska. Andrew not a lap down anymore. Raced his way back on the lead lap here, so that would be huge. I mean, a caution flag flies, John. We're going to give one the lucky dog. I guess some people will get the waiver rounds, but boy, oh boy, here comes Courtney Nelson down pit road is your leader. And Dwayne MacArthur, he gets his lap back. And I believe, John, that was the man who came down pit road the same lap as Andrew Kotska.
Yeah, he is.
When everything cycles out, he's going to be P2.
Yep, that's what I said earlier. As early as he came in, he's going to cycle up to the top there. And, yeah, those guys are going to have to really work together, maybe not battle too much. I know there's a little distance there, but if MacArthur reels them in, they are going to have to be very careful on how much they want to battle for that spot.
Yeah, interesting to note, too, you know, the 92 of his...
caution! Whoa, there's nobody a lap... There's half the field's a lap down, but a lot of your players are back on there.
Jonathan Tier up front as the caution flag flies. I'm not too sure what's happening here for the caution. Oh, front. Contact going into pit road here, Ryan. This is what happened. Brian Lynch gets in the back of Guarisco. Guarisco, exactly what happened. You said, John, you overshoot. I think he tried to come back down. And when he does come back down, the 9's there.
Yeah, you know, I know that these guys by rule are supposed to call out, hey, a pitting, you know, 9 pitting or 28 pitting or whatever. So that's, you chalk that whole deal up to a miscommunication there. I'm sure that 28 coming out of the throttle that much probably caught Lynch by surprise here.
And that
changes everything.
Lynch. That could be absolutely huge for Lynch here.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The big advantage that MacArthur and Kotska were going to have time-wise, and those guys are going to have to track them. Well, I guess everybody's coming in. I was going to say, but any advantage they would have, they were going to be, their whole advantage was going to disappear.
Okay, so Daniel Hill, he had obviously just come in. I mean, he had stayed out there a while. When did he pit? Lap 60. Sean Foltz stayed out. He pit lap 62. Courtney Nelson pit lap 63. So not too long ago for those guys, John. I would say that's, you know, I thought staying out was going to kind of screw them, but I think it worked out because now, if we do get a late caution, they're going to have an extra set of tires here that those guys who just came down may not have.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, if we don't get another caution, you know, they're gonna be able to run, you know, quite a bit longer. Not quite a bit, a few laps longer than these other cats are. But yeah, their tires, they could be caught a lap down if we don't get a caution, though. That's going to be the big thing. I think that cycle happening through that is going to put them at a disadvantage that late if we don't get another caution.
I think we're going to get the one. Did we get the 1 to green this time by here? I'm gonna pull him down, man, because I felt like this guy's used up all the luck, but somehow he's still got it. So we got the black cat down here, Daniel Hill. Daniel, I was questioning you. I said, what is this guy doing staying out so long? Did you know the caution flag was going to come and that you weren't going to waste another set of tires?
No, I just gambling on the fact that it was going to stay green. The tires really don't fall off, so I was in clean air, so I'd rather just stayed out and not have to pass cars. And then, you know, it is what it is. Hey, we'll see what happens.
Well, hey, I didn't realize we were going back 1 to green. We'll send you back up, but man, punch your ticket. You don't want to have to deal with Dega. Go get him.
Yeah, 10-4, buddy. Thanks.
I'm good at doing that when they go 1 to green. It's all right. They'll live. Who we got here? I mean, you got to think Jonathan Tier. He's the big winner out of that. I mean, gets to come down pit road, get fresh tires here, respawn fourth. Let's see what the 86 can do here.
That's a big break for him too. But watch Hill there. You know, he's got a little bit older tires than those guys. What, 2 rows back? That's going to be the thing. How quick does Koska and the rest of those guys, MacArthur, get up there?
2 playoff contenders on the front row as we get set to go back. Green flag waves. The Black Cat drops the hammer. And Sean Foltz not going to fight him here. In fact, Courtney Nelson going to take a peek for second. And if I'm Foltz, maybe you just fall in line because you know those guys behind got those fresh tires. It's exactly what happened, but we got 3 wide. Tier to the outside. He's going to lift out. Probably the smart move. Jonathan Tier. Oh, man, he said, what am I doing here? He was, oh, boy, that was a handful there for a moment.
Well, yeah, and through the corners where those new tires are going to show up the most. He's got the most grip, and he can carry the most speed through the corners there. And those new tires, he's probably feeling like King Kong there going down into turn 1.
Courtney Nelson, it looked like, was trying to make a little move there for the lead as it gets shut down. Tom Ogle going to have to fall in line as well. See, Andrew Kotska, he tried to make the move, but now top 6, 7, basically single file here is if you just want to get back into a rhythm. If you're Andrew Kotska, you know, maybe you went a little too hard too early, John. Does that affect the way you move through traffic, or do you still want to get out to the front early and then kind of set the pace from there?
Well, you know, his tires, he was the one that seemed to be his tires fell off before everybody else. So, and I'm sure that he knows that and realizes, okay, he probably did push a little too hard, too quick. So we'll see if he's more patient on this run.
Oh, man, Courtney Nelson, I thought he was going to do it. He had the nose down there. That Furniture Row 78 machine came to play, but he's got some company once again. Sean Foltz coming with a big run here in that 59 machine, but you can see overdrives the middle of the corner there, had to lift out. Now Andrew Kotska even getting a bit of a run on him. Right now, you know, I think, John, obviously you want to move up here if you're inside that top 10, and well, Hurley just did what I said or was about to say, but you're almost waiting for that guy in front of you to make a mistake. Oh, Hurley comes down the racetrack. I think that was Huff who got collected there. And now the 77, I think he's just going to yank her on pit road. Oh, he's going to hit the inside wall. I think he's done for the night.
Yeah, tough bake for Roger Hurley.
We're going. Oh, okay. So that's the problem. He blinked for a little bit, came across the nose there, the 51. Isaacs didn't know he was there. They make that contact, and pretty big hit there for the 77. And you see, he tries to get down out of the way, but car coming, and the 46 to pay the price. This is your live look out front. You see the top 5 single file, really. Top 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I mean, as far as you look back, single file as far as the eye can see. And I think they heard me, John. You need that guy in front of you to make a mistake. You got to make sure you got tires here to maybe bring it home.
Yeah, and, you know, you're not knowing where these cautions, I mean, we got, what, 60 laps in? So that means, you know, you got to do another 60 or so. You're around lap 120. Next pit stop might be around 120. I think you want to run this one long for no other reason than to have the best tires where you can just go for it on that last run and, you know, throw caution to the wind as far as tire wear goes.
Black Cat to the outside here. You see Courtney Nelson taking the peak on the bottom. Can't do it. No run. Off the corner. I mean, you just watch that car on the outside just absolutely dog you here. I mean, you make up time on corner entry, but you just can't play around on exit. Right now, Nelson, you know, I wouldn't say even, John, maybe he's not trying to per se make a move for the lead, but I think, you know, you hear drivers talk about, you know, just the air on that nose. I think he's maybe going down there out of necessity just to kind of keep the car from sliding on that right front tire. Andrew Kotska getting the run here through the middle of 3 and 4. Oh, Kotska clips the outside wall. And man, oh man, that's not what you want to see if you're that 40 machine. I mean, you were hurting the right front early on in the first run. And man, if you're sliding coming off, that's not going to be good here for the closing laps. And Kotska sees these guys out in front of him. I mean, he's battling with them in the points. He does not want to give one away here in Vegas.
Yeah, and Zach, I'll tell you, you know, look at the racing with newer tires compared to when everybody was on old tires. You're definitely not have all 3 lanes at use right now. It looks like the bottom's kind of the preferred. Oh, we got a caution.
Yes, we do. Robert Gorisco, I think, involved in another one here from what I'm seeing, and it looks like he just gets a little sideways in the middle of 3 and 4. Almost catches it, but boy, it's going to be a tough hit here, John. And boom.
Yeah, he lost the back of that early in the corner. Actually, he was almost in the center of 3 and 4, a little past the center of 3 and 4, and boy, he fought it. He fought it the whole way, and the car just got the better of him at the last second there. And we should probably use this time. Maybe, believe it or not, I don't know if you've noticed, Zach, but people are starting to fall out. Brian Lynch is taking it behind. You know, we saw him get into the back there to cause the first caution. But Bert Dodson's parked it. Dakota Pischke's parked it. Roger Hurley, who we just saw have an issue, has parked it. Ken Huff has now parked it. So quite a few guys are starting to fall out of this one.
Yeah, so far it's been safe and sound, though, for the playoff contenders, is if you've been watching or if you're looking right now. The guys in yellow, obviously, you see all 8 drivers inside. We'll call it the top 13 for Jerry Isaac's sake. Are we going to have any takers down pit road here, John?
You know, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, wow, you're past that 75. You could, if we went green, you could probably go the rest of the way on the gas. But are they going to fake it? Or yeah, look at the games being played. Oh, we got some takers.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? Those guys, I believe those guys are teammates. I'm thinking those guys, their strategy now is to stretch the fuel out, stretch the tires out. If this thing goes green, I kind of wonder if they're not thinking, you know what, this is our last stop.
All right, John, I'm going to pull down the guy who you interview the most here. We got Mr. Tom Ogle with us. Tom, you had a quick race car on that opening run, but it seemed like, you know, they kind of got you there on the short pit, and maybe, you know, you overshot the pit a little bit. But yeah, no big deal, no harm, no foul.
I put it in reverse, and it started pitting the car, so I didn't really overshoot it, but, you know, iRacing. But I was going to start to roll on a couple more laps there. I wanted to save a little bit there because we only have one more set of tires. I'll be fine. I'm not that good here, so I'm just trying to manage my racing tires at this point. It's so hard to pass with the dirty air and stuff, so I hated to give up track position, but those guys were really going to start to fall on those tires, but unfortunately, cautions change everything.
Yeah, and nice thing is, what I saw is tires actually, the wear in them actually helps the dirty air thing because it allows you to start moving around and do different lines and different things. But real quick here as you're lining up, what is the tire life? How far can you go on a set?
Well, you can go 62 laps on fuel. I went 55 last time, I think, and I had like 57 right front and 70 right rear, so it's a little bit tight, but not terrible. And I'm using a little brake getting in, and I don't think other guys are. They're driving it in and driving off the right front, so I'm hoping that'll help me on a long run a little bit. It did the first time, so I guess we'll just see how the tire strategy turns out. I think Dan's in the catbird seat because he has a set, because he ran so long that first time that they're just on newer tires and only used one set.
All right, buddy. Hey, you guys are getting ready to go back to it, so good luck here.
Thank you.
Well, Zach, 62 laps and those two cats just pit, and You know?
I just pulled John up there by accident, and we're pulling John back down. I tried to pull up Tom for Ryan, and I yanked you, John, so you were talking to the drivers. That is my bonehead move of the year. It took...
so everybody in that whole thing is going, I wonder what happened.
Yes, they were. Yes,
well, wait a minute. Tom just answered my question, though, so how did he hear me?
Well, I pulled him up at the same time, so you probably both thought... Everyone heard your question, but we'll have a laugh about it after. As the green flag set the wave, we are back underway, over halfway, lap 82 here. Good jump for the man who, in Tom Ogle's words, I mean, he's in the catbird seat, John. He is out front. And he's one of those guys with an extra set of tires right now.
Yeah, well, Nelson's aggressively trying to side draft Koska on corner exit there on this restart.
Oh, man, Nelson, I mean, he's no pink on that car, nothing to drive for but checkered flag, so he's got to push. That's what he's trying to do, but Kotska able to clear him now, and Andrew needs to get out front here, get that clean air. How hard does he push here to get to the Black Cat is, man, we take a look. Tell who that was a little further back. They were almost 3 wide through 1 and 2. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, Negus is there, and he's got some pace here, at least early on in these runs. So he's to the outside of MacArthur here. Just got his nose barely out there, and he's going to get a good run down through the front stretch here.
No, and Negus was one of those guys, I had harped on him. He went good there. The middle portion, he seemed to slow down, but after he clapped that wall, it seemed like he got some pace back. I mean, he was flirting in the TV3 camera view of the leader. He was right behind, and now you're seeing Negus get it done on the outside, cleans up on the general Dwayne MacArthur. And a guy we haven't really talked about other than, that he was running back in, I think, 13th at one point. All of a sudden, that Cartoon Network machine here, John, Greg McDaniel, is up in this picture, and he is one of those guys always sneaky fast, never there at the beginning. You start to wind down, that Cartoon Network machine is right there.
Yeah, he is, and Greg's one of those guys too that's really smart about protecting those tires. So he does a good job with that. The Foltz on those cars. Foltz is driving back up here quickly, by the way.
Yes, he is. Going around the outside, too. Doing it in style, high, wide, and handsome. As Tom Ogle clears the 78 machine, you see there a couple cars back of Tom Ogle is Sean Foltz. I mean, he is rolling already around Greg McDaniel. Next on the list is the General Dwayne MacArthur. I would not want to be in the way of that 59 machine. And I do think, John, now obviously he was in the back, okay, so Tom's not going to think of him. But correct me if I'm wrong, Foltz, he still does have an extra set of tires because he was one of the guys that hit late. I don't think he's used up all his tires.
Yeah, I don't remember the sequencing, but I do think, yeah, you might be right. He has one left in the pit area.
Yeah, because I think everybody right now has one left, if I'm counting correctly. Except for Daniel Hill, who, yeah, my producer's saying in my ear, he's got 2. He'll have 2. So, I mean, if the cautions would line up right, it's going to be perfect here for the 7. And Courtney Nelson, too, as well. We're here. So that's the man in 4th. So I guess he's on the same strategy there as the Black Cat here. I mean, you get some cautions to fall, which... not really likely. I mean, I can't name many races, John, that had 3 cautions in it this season. 2 is even pushing it. So, I mean, they would need a lot of luck, really, I think, to use up those extra sets.
Yeah, but if they get a shot at it, and they get a late race restart, and they've got tires that are 20 laps newer, yowzers, they're going to make some noise.
Yeah, we saw it there with the 59. I mean, it was only a few laps newer there, using them to cut through the field. And working by the 94 in Negus right now. Next on the list is the General Dwayne MacArthur. Tom Ogle taking a peek under Andrew Kotska. This is the battle for second. Kotska not going to give up this one, I don't think. Tries to get a run off of 4, but Tom Ogle may indeed shut the door here. Oh, boy, I don't know if Kotska's or if Tom's clear. Now, if I'm the spotter, clear, clear, clear. Get that 11 up there. Shut the door.
You know, I'm wondering if that was a product, though, of Kotska not wanting to push things because he used his tires up and he fell back so quickly in that first run. I wonder if that's just, like I said, him thinking to himself, hey, you know what? I'm going to keep these tires on under me a little longer.
Another guy, who we haven't talked about, I don't think at all tonight, John, Chris Bates, other than mentioning his penalty in the beginning. I mean, Bates has worked himself up inside the top 15. He's up into 12th. Bates is a guy, too, who we've seen sneak himself into a couple podiums. Wouldn't be surprised to see that 81 continue to knife his way through the field here. He's coming quick as of late, as you see Greg McDaniel working underneath Scott Negus, in the 94. That's Dale Copeland behind. Confused the red on the bumpers. Negus drives in deep to 1. He's really got to lift out there, and you saw he's going to get a run off the corner. But, man, he lost a lot of time in the center, and Greg McDaniel makes the pass easy. Greg McDaniel trying to finish it off. Finally, nope, doesn't finally. Negus still going to take that peek here. Oh,
I thought Negus was got a bump draft in the middle of the tri-oval for a minute.
Yeah, it definitely looked
he's
like
got
he
a
had
big
that
run.
big run.
Negus has got a big run.
And so does Dwayne MacArthur here on Courtney Nelson. He's taking a peek on the bottom. The General couldn't keep it on the bottom there. You see him kind of slip and slide a little bit as well, and Courtney Nelson going to get the run off the corner.
Foltz is just, he's just like, come on, guys, give me a lane.
No kid. I mean, he may have to make his own lane here if these guys keep battling, because right up in front of them, John, they're running side by side, but they're reeling in Andrew Kotska, so this could get interesting here.
Yeah, it means Kotska's tire woes might be continuing a little bit here for him.
And obviously, you never want to be that first one to go, but we are getting to the point where you pit here, you can make it the rest of the way on gas. Ogle told us he was 62 laps is what he was thinking, so maybe even a little under what we thought.
Well, and they've had some caution laps here too, so you know what, going a few, because what was it, Kotska pitted, what was it, lap 46 initially? This time around he can go a little bit further, but that means he's going to have to go 50 laps on these tires. Like I said, if I'm these guys, I push it as far as I can go. If it's 110, I go to 110. If it's 120, I go to 120, so I have the absolute freshest rubber I can to the end.
Yeah, he last came down lap 65. So the most recent right now, Sean Foltz, who's making the pass here on the outside of Dwayne MacArthur, he came down lap 79. So 14 lap pressure tires than those in front of him. And as John mentioned, there were a couple caution laps on him. But I would have to say the big surprise is, Tom Ogle said it, clean air is king, but Daniel Hill, he hasn't pit since lap 60. That was that green flag pit stop, and man, he is still quick out front.
Well, and let me tell you, part of what Ogle said in his interview, I'm trying to manage my race. So that means that he's making calculations behind that wheel of when to push, when to challenge, when to let a challenge go. So he might be just content running right where he's at right now, get through the next pit stop, see where he's at, and go for a win.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing too, all that's going on. You're aware of who has pitted, who's got extra stuff. The last thing he wants to do is get too aggressive here, make a mistake, and allow those guys with the extra sets of tires to use them. So, got a race within his means here as Greg McDaniel goes to the outside of Sean Foltz. We had seen Foltz maybe push a little too hard trying to work his way up to the front. He is on 15 lap newer tires, and all of a sudden he's seeing those guys go by on the outside.
Yeah, and Zach, I'm going to throw one out here for you. Let's just say this run you undercut, and most of the guys are going to pit around lap 20. But if you come in, let's say around lap 115, and you can build a 6, 7, 8 second lead by doing that, those guys pit, with 25 to go, maybe 30 to go. Is that enough time for them to reel you back in without a caution? That is another part of that calculation. Can you get farther up ahead that time doesn't let you even time won't give them a chance to catch you back?
But yeah, that, and I mean, and Tommy said he didn't lose a lot of time with it. There's James Hislop coming down pit road with basically 50 laps to go here. I mean, when you do what James Hislop is doing, John, you put a lot of pressure on those guys who are staying out and are in the box. And, that's got a lot to do with people making mistakes, mental errors. They're trying to get as much as they can. And the longer they stay out here, I think the more it weighs.
Yeah, I mean, pitting this early and taking your last set is going to net you a 10, maybe 11-second advantage, to whoever you are racing around. So the question's going to be, if they pit, let's say lap 20, can they erase 11 seconds in 30 laps? That's going to be the big question. And think about it, fall off starts to happen around lap 20. So that's, you're going to have to catch them on old tires, most likely.
The general goes around Courtney Nelson, and they're coming up on James Hislop, who just came down pit road. So I honestly expect James to assimilate here pretty quickly and maybe drive right back around these guys. You won't want to get stuck a lap down here. So he's going to have to kind of go take advantage of these new tires. He's 2 laps down. I'm explaining to my producer, Ryan, because they didn't have that tire fall off for the first run. He pit so early, so that now he'll get on the lead lap. But whenever they do pit, it should tally right back in. If I'm mathing correctly, John, but you can always speak over me here.
Yeah, I don't do math. But I think you're right. I think if it all cycles through, he'll be able to drive back up and get back on the lead lap.
Greg McDaniel in the wall. Sorry to interrupt you, John.
Yep,
Greg McDaniel was in the wall through 1 and 2. It didn't look too bad, but oh man, not what you want if you're a championship contender here.
No, not at all. But yeah, I think Hislop, once they all pit, will cycle back around and be back on he's going to drive and earn one back and get one back.
And now Kotska slapped the wall again too. Everybody wants me to interrupt you, John. I mean, these guys are using it up, and not that you want to do it, but if you're Kotska, I mean, are you thinking about short pitting again? Because boy, oh boy, I mean, you are burning your stuff up tonight.
Yeah, but here's the thing. A caution late, he's not going to be able to go back in and get tires and match everybody else. He's going to be stuck on what he's going to get. So his incentive now, at least in my opinion, this is the one you want to run long. And I mean, it's what you want to do.
Down pit road. So we got another taker here. Negus going to make his move, and boy, oh boy, Andrew Kotska to the outside, Sean Foltz to the bottom. Foltzy trying to make it work here, but Kotska's going to have a big run off it too.
Yeah, Foltz has got the newer tires. I think eventually he's going to prevail, and here he does right here. But we got another one coming to pit. Look like Courtney Nelson, the pit road.
Yep. Courtney Nelson, he's one of the guys with 2 sets of tires left, so why not? Thank you, he says.
Yeah, for Courtney, this really works out. If we do get that lap 135 caution, boy, he's going to be sitting pretty.
Just got to wonder here. I mean, Courtney and Dan, they were on the same strategy. Your leader, Daniel Hill, does he think about ducking down?
Yep, here he comes.
And here comes Tom
Ogle.
Monkey see, monkey
MacArthur.
do.
But Ogle does not have the extra set, though, that I don't think Hill has.
No, I think he is just, you got to hope it stays green here. And
yeah.
I love how Tom used really Daniel Hill to kind of come to a stop there, made sure he was going to gain time but not speed on pit road. That was great by Tom Ogle. He's got to nail this pit entrance. There we go, Tom. Oh, you see they got jacked up at the same time. Daniel Hill had to back up. I mean, they dropped the jack on the 11 there first. So Tom Ogle's going to inherit the quote-unquote lead here, John, and Dwayne MacArthur. Look at him. He had a perfect pit stop as well. I mean, got a couple guys here ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, though, Hill I think's got the pace to run Ogle back down. But I'm still concerned. If I'm Tom, man, it's going to be a long way to run. And if they're just Chris Bates is coming in, but if there's a late race caution, oh my gosh, I think Nelson and what a battle we'll see with those guys that have those sets of tires left in there.
Yeah, man. Now you know, obviously you mentioned you don't want to get caught a lap down. You want them to cycle out here a little bit, but boy, if you could, the same thing happened. This first set of green flag pit stops happened again here. I mean, those guys are in wonderful shape.
Yeah, but you know where they're not going to be? If that caution comes out between, let's say, lap 120 and 125, you know, you don't want to leave that set in there. You're going to have to come back and give away that advantage. You're going to have to come back there and get that set because you don't want to start that restart with, 10, 15 lap older tires. That's going to negate any kind of advantage that those tires got. So you want it to at least go, I would think, to 130, allow the pit cycle to get through and maybe a few laps post pit cycle to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I applaud what Tom Ogle did there. You got to kind of follow the leader, but like you said, I mean, with that extra set of tires, I don't know if it was maybe too early for Tom to come in, if he should have stayed out a little longer, but man, only time will tell. And John, we're running out of it. I mean, as the leaders come by this time, I think 36, 37 laps to go. Not a lot of time here. 30 seconds a lap. Here comes Isaac down pit road.
Yep. See, and this really does play into Hill and Nelson and them, because with these guys pitting this early, then, that I was telling you want it to at least go to lap 120, 125 or something like that. But if they're pitting this early, lap 25 will be fine. You're going to have 15 lap newer tires. That'll be a big deal.
Andrew Kotska coming down pit road. The man who was in P2, he's diving down. Is that Lloyd Ward behind him? It is.
And Ogle and Hill just went right around Kotska, so they've got a lap to make up here. Courtney Nelson and MacArthur, they're reeling in Hill and them. Yeah, but Nelson, I know there was just a pass, but Nelson is reeling him back in.
Anxious to see here how hard does Daniel work to get around Tom. I mean, do you want to do it on newer tires, or do you maybe wait and lay in the grass here if you're the 7 machine? I really don't know what the ideal move is here.
Yeah, and they're going by Kotska right now, so they're going to be significantly further up the track than what they were pre-pit stop.
Right now, I want to say 5 cars on the lead lap. If, a little yellow would fly at the moment, that would make things interesting. I mean, leaders would come down pit road so everyone would get that wave around.
Well, yeah, but right now, as it speaks, after this cycle's out, you're going to have Ogle P1, you're going to have Hill P2, Nelson 3, and MacArthur 4, and they're right under a banner here. And heck, you know what? Copeland is part of that too, that train.
He is right there in that 55 machine, tailing behind the General. Scott Negus, a couple cars back. He was one of those guys. He had come down a little earlier, I believe, lap 106, and tried to make up some time on those guys and just couldn't do it. A little too far back to really get any draft off those guys. As Courtney Nelson, I think, completed that pass. Oh,
MacArthur. No. And MacArthur's on the inside of Nelson coming out of turn 4 here.
And we got a lap car on the outside. Maybe going to use him as a little bit of a pick here. Smart move by the General. I mean, he's points racing, so you got to get him though when you can get him. And you see there, Johnny runs the middle. He says, yeah, Courtney, you're not going to have anywhere to go, dude. You better just lift out here and fall in line. That's a smart move.
Yeah, it really, really was.
Sean Foltz, your leader, coming down pit road here. So now Greg McDaniel leading the way in the one machine. He is the only car on the lead lap, well, other than Sean Foltz at the moment, but that'll change if Greg McDaniel stays out there. And you see right behind Greg there, well, 2 cars behind now. That's Tom Ogle. That is going to be your race leader.
Yeah, the difference is about the time that McDaniel's exiting the corner, Ogle was entering the corner there, so I'm sure that gap will continue to close.
And what a steal this would be for Greg McDaniel if he could get a caution right now.
And Foltz has got to get up to speed quick. They're going by him.
Yeah, Foltz is really, I mean, he's in that spot where he's going to get a little bit of draft here, John, but he can't kind of bring those tires to him, man. He's got to go.
Well, yeah, and when he took that pit stop earlier, he got to a certain point, drove up through the field pretty easily, but then he stalled out about 5th or 6th spot.
Really impressed, though, you know, with how much later he came down pit road than those guys that, I mean, he's not too far behind. Kind of blowing my mind here. This 59, all of a sudden, I'm telling you, if the betting window's open, you go down there and you put some money on that 59, he is looking good right now.
Yeah, he's got the best situation in the top 5 by far.
Look at that. I mean, look.
Yep.
Papa's got a new pair of shoes. He right around the outside like he was sitting still. And, I mean, he has got to go while the getting's hot here. Doesn't want to waste time. Got to take advantage. He's getting a big run on the general. You got to peek to the outside. Nope, he says, I'm going to the inside. Here he goes.
Yeah, and right here, like I said, in the corners where newer tires show up, he's going to have so much more speed in the center of the corner right there. And now he's just driving away from the 83 now.
Oh, my gosh, Sean Foltz. Maybe
what I say, top of the show.
The race.
Strategy could be determined this one.
Producer's got 20. I said 10, so he's doubling. I mean, look at this guy. Sean Foltz on a roll here as they approach your, the real race leader, who we're giving no credit to, Greg McDaniel, but he is out there on old tires. Is Tom Ogle thinking about making the move here to put himself back on the lead lap?
When was the last time McDaniel was to pit road?
Lap 65.
Okay,
so
yeah,
this time by is 60 laps, and according to Tom, 62. You know, you got to think, I mean, he's coming in the next 2 to 3 laps.
You know, these guys, yeah, they're unlapping themselves, but I think Tom's time is going to be limited at the lead of the head of the field. If McDaniel doesn't pit here soon, Ogle's not going to inherit the lead. It's going to be Foltz that's going to inherit the lead when he pits.
Yeah, and Sean, one of those guys, you know, just stealthily kind of sneaking his way through here in the playoffs. And, man, if he could come here to Vegas and pull the slot machine and, I mean, get a win here, that would be unbelievable. I mean, we got Dega coming up. I can't think of what's the other one here as we look at Martinsville then next. And he's going to peek to the bottom. Sid Thompson's if you're going to do it.
Hill's coming to pit road.
Daniel Hill coming down pit road. Does he think he can make up time on new tires here the rest of the way? He's
going to have to run qualifying laps from here to the end. But I don't know that he's going to be able to make up that time. He's going to have to make up a whole lap. And man, oh man, I mean, why not? I mean, that's the last card he has to play. He might as well try to play it. And Hill is staying out, or not Hill, but McDaniel's still out there. So he's gone further than the 62 laps. So you have to figure the caution flags have helped him stretch it a little bit, but Hill is now a lap down to all these guys.
Yeah, and I tried to rewind. I was speed rewinding there on Daniel Hill, and I don't see him slap the wall or anything. I do see Dwayne MacArthur really reeling him in the last couple laps like he was struggling. But, man, that's... oh, man, I don't know if John, I always say it, but I don't think he's coming back from this.
Well, well, you know, to me that screams I'm trying to win this race. I'm not points racing. That's kind of what I feel like, and boy, he's going to have to drive the wheels off that car to make up that kind of time. I mean, really, really.
Leader coming down pit road. So Greg McDaniel's going to lose the lead here, and Sean Foltz will inherit the race lead as he was able to get around Tom Ogle. I mean, Sean Foltz. Boy, oh boy, this is,
you know,
what a call.
The McDaniel is not going to come out in bad shape because, well, they're going to unlap themselves coming out of the corner here, but I don't think he's going to be 20 seconds behind these guys with 20 laps to go and running maybe a second faster than these guys. That's going to be really close, Zach, to getting back up in the front, or at least in the top 5. And for him, who's running for points, this might be a really good move for him.
Yeah, as you see right now, coming off of pit road, your leader entering 3. I don't think he's going to be able to get up to the lead like John mentioned, but getting up into the top 5, that may be reasonable here for that Cartoon Network machine if he goes out here and runs qualifying laps. But he is going to absolutely have to go from the drop.
Yeah, if there's a caution, yeah, my money is coming off of Foltz and going to McDaniel.
Yeah, I mean, and it, you know, you want to say, oh, if they have a caution, you're going to put your money on Daniel Hill, but he just came down pit road under green. And
but Daniel, I think, is a lap down to these guys, though.
That's what I'm saying. And, I mean, really, I think the caution now, I don't know how many guys, we do have a decent amount on the lead lap, but, I mean, Courtney Nelson, he's still got that extra set of tires. So the caution flag would fly. I mean, Courtney Nelson in that 78 machine, he's sitting pretty as well.
100%.
Daniel Hill right now coming. He's still a lap down. He's coming off of turn 2 as your leader crosses the start-finish line. I mean, he's not even going to unlap himself here, I wouldn't think, in 17 laps. I mean, he may, but the pace, Sean Foltz right now running a 30.45. What was Daniel last time by? Yeah, 30.2. I mean, that's crazy. Oh,
yeah, he needs to swap over to an Indy car.
Yeah, he's going to need to make up that kind of time here.
Yeah.
Watching Lloyd Moore on the outside of Scott Negus. Lloyd Moore going to get the battle done for 8th here. Negus just going to have to fall in line. I believe Negus on older tires than Moore, by about 8 laps. Probably start to feel that a little bit.
Well, Zach, to add some drama here, so Foltz came out and ran pretty hard to get up here and get the lead. These other guys didn't really fight him. So when the tires equal out, the question is going to be, does Foltz have the pace on older tires to hold these guys off? Because he hasn't put a ton of time between himself and Tom Ogle. Ogle is probably just out of being able to draft back up to him range, but another car length or 2 closer, and I think he's going to start feeling the effects of the draft, sucking him right back up to the back of that 59 car.
Yeah, I think he's pulling the J.R. Shepherd right now, John. Just getting him to that, gap that he likes, keeping it comfortable here. I would almost put the house payment on the 59 here at this point in time. I mean, anything can happen, but right now, Foltz. Boy, oh boy, you can see, I mean, the gaps. Yeah, I mean, they're nearly identical. And right now, I mean, he is coming up on lap traffic. I wouldn't think going to be too much of an issue here, but you never know.
But around lap 140, let's see where the lap times and they are, because that'll leave 10 laps. And like I said, there's not that far of a distance. If he starts to fall at all, Ogle's got to pick that draft up and be right back to his bumper in no time.
See, I believe, John, not that I encourage it, and I don't think that he will, but James Hislop he's that man about to go lap down. He is just going to get out of the way, but he is in the chase here. So, you know, James knows he's...
Those guys are teammates.
Okay. All right. So you know more than me.
I believe those guys. I'm almost certain that those guys are teammates. I could have swore I've talking to one of them. I thought said that, so I could be wrong. I'm old and I'm prone to forgetfulness. So
See Greg McDaniel here. He was that last man to make that pit stop, and he's going to get one of them back there. Drives around the 39 of Jeff Lyden. Jerry Isaac's not too far up the road here, so McDaniel, I would think, should be able to get to that 51 here without issue. And I believe Isaac's, he's another guy. He is still in the playoff contention. So this is a pretty important battle here between those two in the final, 11 laps.
Ogle is he's holding steady, but he sure isn't closing in. So you could be very well correct in saying that maybe he is Fultz is managing that gap.
I wonder, looking at the lap times, I mean, the top three, as our producer talked to us, I mean, really, the top three lap times almost identical. Dwayne has been reeling in Tom a little bit, but not enough that I don't think he's going to get to the back of him as we come to 9 laps to go. Boy, oh boy, John, would a caution mix things up here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, McDaniel, on those new sets with 9 to go, he's getting ready to overtake Jerry Isaac to crawl into the top 10, but then there's a long way to go to get to the back of Scott Negus.
Here we go, McDaniel. This is for position here.
And those are two guys fighting for points. 10. Yeah, and those two guys are fighting for positions for the next round.
And you never know. I mean, who's going to end up in the graveyard next week, either at Talladega? I mean, anything can happen. So you have just got to get up every single point you can. I think that's why we're seeing Isaacs, even on older tires, try not to give this thing up and try to stay close enough to him that if McDaniel maybe clips the wall, he can get back to him. But we are running out of time, John. 7 laps to go.
Yeah, that time Ogle was a little quicker than Fultz, but that's just one time. Can he consistently do it? And he's going to need even more than that, though, to catch him.
Trying to really take peeks. I mean, 6th, 7th, and 8th, they're all pretty close, but nobody close enough to really make a move here. And Greg McDaniel, he is a ways back from Scott Negus, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to take advantage of those new tires. I know right now Greg McDaniel is a Jeff Lyden fan, as Lyden inches closer to the 51 of Jerry Isaacs. He'd love him to make that spot up here, as Isaac needs every point he can get. He doesn't want to lose one to somebody on the outside looking in here, but he may. Jeff Lyden continues to reel him in. Jeff, he's been a smart racer this season, John. I would think even if he gets to him, you'll probably see a lot of that pink on that race car, and I don't think he's going to make too big of a move here. I mean, obviously, if the lane's open, he's going to take it, but I don't think Jeff's going to force anything here.
Yeah, not this late in the race and with a playoff driver. I mean, these guys all pretty have good awareness. That's not one you want to force an issue with. But if you can make the pass, like you said, you don't lay down and just say, oh, shucks, yeah, he's in, I don't want to mess up his race. They're laying open, you're quicker, you go take that spot. But you make a low-risk pass to do it.
And you can see Jeff right up against that outside wall, trying to do anything he can to build up a run. As the leader comes to 3 laps to go. John, I even mentioned to you tonight, undercut. I mean, it is not often that we talk about an overcut here, and Sean Fultz went long save those new tires here for that final stretch. And for the first time this season, I think we're seeing that strategy pay off.
Yeah, he's done a heck of a job here, and yeah, he just needs to keep all 4 tires, all rolling in the same direction and not make any mistakes here, and he's gonna punch his ticket to Phoenix.
And Tom Ogle is 1.5 seconds back. He's gonna hope maybe Sean miscalculated on fuel a little bit. He's gonna run dry, because without some help here, I just don't think he can get there. I mean, he is on 11 lap older tires. They're running similar lap times. As we see Jeff Loudon work to the inside here of Isaacs, that is, I'm telling you, Greg McDaniel is saying, come on, Jeff. He is rooting like heck for that 39.
Yeah, these guys are side by side and not really good tires, and boy, that makes things. Oh, he's got it, Isaacs.
Oh! Isaacs, hang on to it. He does what a save as your leader comes off a turn 4 for the final time. Sean Foltz takes the checkered flag at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, followed by Tom Ogle. Dwayne MacArthur rounds out the podium, and as I look back here, Jerry Isaacs, John, he lost that spot to Jeff. He lost one more. We'll go over it there in the rundown. But, man, could we possibly look back at this finish and
Dan Hill.
This out.
Dan Hill, 17th. So that late race move did not pay off for him, and McDaniel's able to come back only for a top 10.
Yeah, definitely going to be questioning what the Black Cat did there. You got to wonder if maybe the bad luck struck again, and possibly he didn't fuel it the first pit stop and was forced to come back in. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. But taking a look there at that 59, parking it there at the checkered flag. Going to do a little burnout here, celebrate. We're going to step away for a minute or two on the Virtual Grip Network, and we'll be right back with interviews from your top 3 and your full rundown. Stick around. We're back live on the Virtual Grip Network, and boy, oh boy, cautions flew at opportune times, allowed for some different strategies to be played out here, John, and that's exactly what we got. You know, we mentioned there, I had said to you, not many times that you see the driver go long on a stint, take advantage, but that's exactly what Sean Foltz did. What a race we had.
Yeah, you know, these guys, you can see the intensity pick up on the track, you know, with every decision they make, you know, when to pit, when to pass, you know, when to keep the car, you know, together, keep it under you, don't use it up, all that kind of stuff. I don't know about you, Zach, but I could feel it even as we were calling it, how monumental each decision for our playoff drivers. Every decision they make is magnified and intense.
Yeah, you know, and especially, I mean, we'll get ready. I'll have Ryan pull up the final rundown. But, man, there's a guy coming home in that back half of the field, John, that we may question that strategy for a long time. But I'll let you highlight that as Sean Foltz brings home the win tonight. And John mentioned his ticket is punched in, oh, my God, Phoenix. I still want to say Homestead. Part of me wants Homestead to be
You
that.
can do that
final.
next year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Going back to Homestead. I missed that track finale, but Tom Ogle coming home second. The General coming home third. Dwayne MacArthur, Andrew Kotska fourth. Courtney Nelson fifth. Dale Copeland with a great run coming home sixth. Lloyd Moore seventh. David Brand eighth. Scott Negus ninth. And Greg McDaniel rounds out the top 10.
Coming home 11th is going to be Jeffrey Lydon. Had a spirited battle right down there to the end there. After him is a good run for this guy. It's good to see him up on the board. It's going to be Patrick Martindale coming home 12th. Jerry Isaacs, kind of the other side of that battle we were just talking about with Lydon. He is going to come home 13th. Gavin Adams, 14th. Tom Massey, 15th. James Hislop going to come home 16th. Daniel Hill, and boy, you know, what could have been? He's going to come home 17th. 18th will be Jonathan Thier. 19th, Nicholas Self, and 20th, Torrance Childs.
Andy Thomas coming home in the blackjack position. Chris Bates, 22nd. Robert Borisco after a two-spin night coming home 23rd. Roger Hurley, 24th. Ken Huff, 25th. The Grandpa, Dakota Fishka, 26th. Brian Lynch, 27th. Dirty Bert Dotson here, 28th. And Lucky Larry Corey rounds out the field in 29th. And with that, we'll go ahead and bring up the third place finisher, the General himself, Mr. Dwayne MacArthur. Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
I tell you, man, not as good as you. It looked like you were sitting pretty there, man. I thought, you know, that early pit strategy, the undercut, was maybe going to be the way to go. But, man, Sean Foltz, he proved us wrong. How were you in shock when you saw that 59 coming on the outside late?
Yeah, certainly. I had no idea that two tires would work as well as it did there.
Oh, is that okay? So you know the trick then. Was that two tires?
Yeah, he ran long and took two tires, and it paid off.
Okay, John, we had no idea. Okay, that's pretty crazy. Well, I mean, obviously, Dwayne, you're not necessarily going out of your way to wish it on people, but if you're not going to bring home the win, I mean, there were some tough, it was a tough night for some guys around you in the points. Do you feel any comfort, you know, going into Talladega next week?
It's almost the same. I just saw the standings. I mean, I came in one point into second and still kind of there. So it's a handful of points. Talladega's quite the wild card. So no, I think the only person that can feel good right now is Foltz. I don't think I'm looking from first to eighth is not a lot of points. It's one wreck at Talladega. So I don't think anybody should feel comfortable yet.
I'll tell you what, Dwayne, I know it's been a great season so far, but as you said, man, pressure's kind of starting to mount. We wish you the best of luck next week at Talladega, man. But before you get out of here, got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, big thank. First thing I'll say for all the Canadians listening and watching and racing with us, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. It's Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend up here, so happy Thanksgiving to all the Canadians, and want to say thanks, how thankful I am for my family for supporting me and letting me do this, taking care of whatever they're doing up there while I'm down here driving my Pixel race car. Thank you to our sponsors, YesterYear Racing, and Victory Lane Sports, all the admins that put it on, all the guys out there that were putting on a pretty good show. I think it was probably a pretty good show for you guys. Good racing, some long runs, a couple of cautions. It probably felt like a real race there. So, and then congratulations to Mr. Foltz making the final four there, and that's it.
Well, hey, Dwayne, congratulations. Like I said, man, best of luck. Talladega, we'll be rooting for you, brother. Go get him, General.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Thanks.
Dwayne MacArthur bringing home the P3 finish. And now my partner, John, this is a weekly thing for you here.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, how are you, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I've got a really big question here because, as up here in the booth and being not down in there, I can feel the end is near, and every decision you guys make seems to carry so much weight. When to pit, how hard to run, when to run, do I pass, do I not pass? It seems like everything. I can feel the intensity, that vice grip starting to squeeze. Are you feeling that behind the wheel?
Absolutely. Like the first pit stop, you hear people announcing it, right? And it takes a ton of courage to stay. I mean, courage. I say courage. We're playing a racing sim and I'm in my basement. So, I mean, it isn't like a big courage.
No, but you know what? You've put a lot of time and a lot of effort and commitment to get to this point.
Yeah. So you hear guys on pitting. You hear fast guys pitting. Kotska pits. And you're like, man, all right, I'm good. I guess we're doing this. We're going to stay out. Well, then I came out in like 8th or 9th place. You know what I mean? Everybody's ahead of me. I never had a chance to see how that overcut was going to work, right? So I didn't know. So then everybody announced their pitting the last time. And I'm like, well, I ran out of courage and I'm pitting with Dan and Dwayne. I just wanted to nail my pit, not slide through. And I had a really good stop and I gained a ton of time. And I was so happy, and I was just kind of riding out in front. And here comes Sean with his 2 tires.
Yeah, we didn't realize that he took 2 until we just found out when we talked to Dwayne. And man, I guess now every week, I guess everyone's going to do a practice run with two tires and see what their lap times are, aren't they?
I do sometimes, but I don't know if you could tell up in the booth, but I was running kind of a different line, and I was using brake, getting in to help the car turn, and I'd go in the middle and cut down across and exit low. And I was getting, my left rear was wearing at the same rate my left front was. Like the first run, I had like 60 right front and like 58 left rear. So 2 tires wouldn't have been an option for me, I don't think.
We could say I could notice that to you because you weren't driving in quite as deep, which I thought was smart from a tire standpoint.
Yeah,
man,
it really paid dividends late in the run, But then we got that caution after I had like 15 laps on my tires. That is what put the nail in my coffin. I mean, listen, second place with this competition, I'll take it. So.
Yep, you take it all day and you run with it. Well, let me focus you now forward. We've got Talladega that's coming up here, and we all know that's a crapshoot. So, you can't make a plan because plans change there every lap. Your dancing partner can change 3 times in a lap there.
Right.
What is the goal? Is it, hey, we've got to get a win? Is it to, hey, avoid the big one? What is your mindset having that monstrosity? That's going to probably dictate your season out in front of you.
Not get wrecked, not screw up your pit stop, not get a penalty. Only bad things can happen at Talladega. You know what I mean? Really. I mean, you're just kind of riding around, and the only thing different is horrible things can happen that you have no control over. So you just hope to survive. And if it's 10 to go and you're like with a good pack of guys, and who knows what happens, but you got to survive. And also, it depends on the drafting package we get too, because sometimes you just get in line and ride, and you can't pass. And if you pull out, you drop, or you can lose the draft. So I'm hoping we get a competitive package, but not too competitive.
Well, I look forward to seeing you next week, Tom, and,
Yes,
I wish you
definitely.
the best of luck. And
Thank you, guys.
I hope next week maybe you get to talk to Zach and not me.
You know what? I'll take anybody. I appreciate you talking to me. We get to spend time together. You know what I mean? A
Absolutely.
familiar face. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Good. Have a good
All right.
week, Tom.
You too.
That's Tom.
Congrats
That's
to
Tom.
Sean.
Yep, Tom Mogul finishing second here tonight. Man, I tell you what, this guy you're getting ready to talk to is probably, I'm wondering if his feet has touched the ground yet since crossing the start finish line.
Yeah.
No kidding, man. The magic man here in the 59. Sean, did you know that the two tires were going to work? Was that something you were, keeping close to the chest for late, or was that kind of a Hail Mary call there?
So I did that in practice and ran about 30 laps on two tires, and the car felt good. It loosened it up just a little bit, but didn't really change it too much. And I was thinking, all right, if I have a short run at the end and, caution or no caution, depending on how it worked out, I was like, I'm going to try that. So that caution kind of helped a little bit because I came in and took two tires, I came in and took four tires, and those guys stayed out. And then when they came in, I just kept running and until I looked at where they're at the track, knew if I took four, I'd be too far behind them to probably catch up and run through there. So I took two and, just kind of came out, behind a handful and just grabbed a bunch of them and a few corners, and that was it.
Yeah, he grabbed a bunch of them. I mean, you were high, wide, and handsome there. Were you surprised, that the other guys, obviously they're a couple laps older tires, about 10 to 15, but were you surprised that big a difference there? I mean, you shot by them like they were sitting still, dude.
I think a couple of them might have been, running a little conservative, just, because they didn't want to burn all the tires up because that was their last set. So if a caution came out and they burned them all up, and I was worried about that myself, going off. If I burn all these up, I don't know how this is going to restart on two tires versus their old four tires. So, but I was like, oh well, I'll just go for it and see what happens.
Well, clearly that by far the move of the race here, Sean. And I didn't even ask you. But basically, Martinsville, obviously, anything can happen there. And Talladega, truthfully, anything can happen there. How much, how good are you feeling? The weight has to be incredibly lifted. Dude, you're one of the final four. You're racing for a championship.
Yeah. I was, worried about Talladega more than I am about Martinsville. But now I'm not worried about either one of them.
Now, obviously, Sean, if you can go in there and get another one next week, you're sure as heck going to try. But
oh, yeah, most
do
definitely.
you have a teammate in the chase that, maybe you're trying to get in there next week? Maybe you're going to play second fiddle?
No, none of my teammates made it into the next couple rounds. So it's just me with my top flight guys. So, yep, I'll just go out there and I'll do the same thing. And I don't think I'm going to do anything differently. I don't think I'm not going to throw caution to the wind. I think I'll just go out there and race and just, see what happens.
Yeah, especially, I'm just going to warn you, play nice at Martinsville. Do not get a penalty. Do not get a penalty, Sean, when we roll into the championship week, because, man, we are rooting for you after a great season. Congratulations on the big win here, man. Who do you want to thank?
My teammates, Top Flight Racing, you guys for a great broadcast, all the guys at the OBRL, admins and racers, everyone put on a great show. You guys, like I said, put on a great broadcast. It's awesome to watch. You guys do an excellent job. Yeah, that's it, man. So, it's a lot of fun. I didn't think this would, pan out like this, but it did. It's awesome.
I'll tell you what, man, we can hear the excitement in your voice, and we are absolutely rooting for you, Sean. Good luck the rest of the way, man.
Thank you, guys.
Sean Foltz bringing home the win in that 59 machine as he gets to tiptoe his way into Phoenix here, John. But the rest of the guys, man, oh man, we've got some chaos coming up. But man, tonight, pretty surprised. Definitely some questionable pitch strategies. But what caught your eye about tonight?
Just like I said, the intensity. I could feel it when everybody was, trying to make decisions on what to do. Like Tom said, oh gosh, we hear, people calling out they're coming to the pits, and when to race hard. And, as a driver, I mean, I do a lot of racing myself here in iRacing. I've been in points battles and I've won championships. I've lost championships. And just the fact that I could feel the intensity, and I've never been in a league where I've put the time in these guys have put in. I mean, these guys have been at it since February, just like their real life counterparts. They've made a huge commitment. They're down here to the end, and they can see the end. And just feeling, I felt overwhelmed with some of those decisions, and I'm not even in a car. So that vice is only gonna get tighter the next 2 weeks.
Now, speaking of next 2 weeks, we'll take a look at what's coming up next week. All right, so I'm passing it right away to you, John. I'm intrigued. Flatline to finish line. What are we gonna hear Tuesday?
We're going to hear from Triple Bypass Racing League, the new league that's kind of new to VGN. Got to know the league owner, Al Corey, and got to know Mark Herzog, who, Mark runs with us in BRL quite a bit. Have a lot to do with that league. Really good group of guys. They on Tuesday nights. They're not on this Tuesday, but we're going to broadcast a couple of them, including I think their championship race, if I'm not mistaken, here down the line. But these guys have put on a heck of a show running the ARCA car, and good league. And yeah, we'll get to talk to them here, and you guys will see it Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be back here Tuesday as well. I got YesterYear Tour Modifieds at Pocono, man. I'm
going to try to run that.
That is going to be fun, John. I'm really, there's some of these at the smaller tracks where I'm wondering how are they going to do it. Not going to be a lot of passing. But geez, man, Pocono, you're going to have plenty of room there.
Yeah, I can't. I've been wanting to do one of those on one of the bigger tracks just to see and experience it. That's not something usually you see those cars on tracks like that. So, first of all, hats off to Wanamaker and the group there that are doing that. But yeah, that I am gonna dust off the old modified and see if I can't have a little bit of fun there anyway.
Then, John, we've touched on it a couple times throughout the past couple weeks here, but the biggest wild card of all in this playoffs, Talladega next Sunday. I mean, oh boy, I think the last time we went there, green flagged the whole way. So I don't think you can afford to maybe ride in the back and lose that front pack. You've got to be aggressive the whole time next Sunday.
Yeah, this is one I don't envy any one of those guys that are still in the championship because, you heard them say there's so much that's out of your control. And, boy, that's one, though. That's why people, they fill, 200,000 people into that place when the real world comes in there. It's edge of your seat the whole race because blink of an eye, half the field can get wadded up. So it's going to be a fun one to do.
Make sure you tune in next Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern for that one. And, well, that's going to wrap it up here on the Virtual Grip Network for the OBRL YesterYear Racing Cup Series. I'd like to thank my partner, John Hine, the dude in the back, Ryan Seneca, and last but not least, we at the Virtual Grip Network want to thank all of you for tuning in. Have a great night.